This is the third in our little set of screencasts on mapping graduate attributes at Oxford Brookes University. In this part, we look at a second example of documentation produced during the 2011-12 mapping process, this one by the BSc Honours in Media Technology. The focus in this example is on how the team used the mapping document. This is the mapping document produced by the BSc in Media Technology in the 2011-12 mapping exercise. Let's take a closer look at it. First though, you should note that this form is slightly different than the one that is being used in the current exercise, although the one we are using in the current exercise was modelled on this one. There are only minor differences. First point to note is that in column 2, the results of the mapping exercise, namely the reorganisation of the program learning outcomes under the 5 headings of the graduate attributes, are listed in column 2. Inevitably, there are going to be alternative ways that these learning outcomes could have been organised. A given learning outcome might well fit under 2 or more graduate attribute headings. It's up to program teams to decide which heading is the one of best fit. Column 3 gives you the opportunity to nominate an alternative graduate attribute that the learning outcome might well fit underneath. Column 4 is where you explain changes you propose to make to your learning outcomes, or indeed make a case for changes to learning outcomes. This is the only argumentation that a faculty review panel is going to see, so it's worth your while to make your explanations of these changes as clear and self-explanatory as possible. In this example, most of the changes are of a relatively minor rewording nature. Nevertheless, they're clearly explained. As discussed in the previous example, it is possible that you might propose to make an additional learning outcome to express the existing curriculum. If you do so, then you will need to make a clear case. This is basically all that a review panel will have to go on in order to consider your proposed changes. And so it needs to be reasonably self-explanatory, and the argumentation needs to be pretty precise. Moving now to section 4, there are just a couple of comments to make. The first is this is a summary of the appendix mapping table. That mapping table is where you will have recorded the outcomes of discussions about how graduate attributes are developed in each module within the program. In this section 4, you transfer the summary results indicating which modules are teaching, practicing and assessing in particular a given set of graduate attributes. Do notice that by no means does every module need to address every graduate attribute. We can see here that in the second module example, U80600 Basic Maths, only research literacy is claimed to be assessed. On the other hand, there are several modules within this course that are teaching, practicing and assessing a large number of the 5 graduate attributes. This is entirely as it should be. The key point is to ensure that a student will be developing each of the 5 graduate attributes throughout each year of their course. Right, let's take a quick look at the program specification produced by this course team. As in the previous example, the learning outcomes here are well specified. There is an appropriate number of them, and they use active verbs describing what students will be able to do on completion of the program. Also, as with the previous example, the learning outcomes are contextualised for the discipline of media technology. I'll leave you to refer to the document, which you can find on the website. It's worth reflecting on the differences in style, in length, and in content between this example and the previous one. There's no special right way to write these sections about learning, teaching, and assessment. The best advice I can give is that you should take the opportunity to show your course in a good light. The program specifications are public documents, freely available on the Oxford Brookes University website. Good luck with your mapping. I'm sure it will go well. That's the end of the second example and of the little series of screencasts on mapping graduate attributes. Thanks for listening. If you need further information, visit that URL on the screen.